Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's a beautiful day out today. Although tomorrow we're supposed to get rain and the temperature is supposed to drop like 30 degrees. Not too 30, but 30 degrees cooler than what it is today. I think today's supposed to be out 72. That sun though makes it feel so much warmer, which is good and bad. As you can see, the walkway is done. Now this was probably my biggest and most difficult winter project that I had to do, mainly because I need to do a lot of standing and sitting and standing and kneeling and I'm up and down and I'm 50 and yeah, I don't do a lot of hard labor a lot. So I'm still hurting from almost 2 weeks worth of work. I started this, I think, Valentine's Day. I started taking up a lot of the stones and preparing the space. And then again, if you've been following along with the community tab on the YouTube homepage there, posted a couple of pictures of progress that I've made coming along. One of the big reasons, well, there were several reasons why I wanted to do this. If you're new to the channel, thank you, welcome, hello, how are you? Hope you're all well. If you're an old timer, if you've been following me along for a while, hello, how are you? Prior to the brick here, I had flagstones with pebbles in between, which was nice looking, but pebbles would get underneath some of the flagstones, thus making the flagstones wobbly. I don't enjoy stepping on ground that I'm constantly, trying to balance myself on. And weeds were coming up in between a lot, and it was not a good thing. It was difficult to manage, so we decided to do this walkway. And yeah, this was not a fun project. Like I said, I'm still achy from that work. Some of the things I've done that are going to be garden related, or that are garden related, is the entire front area here, or the area close between the house and the walkway, is I'm going to extend the garden bed. I've mentioned this before in previous videos, and I'm going to make it all one giant garden bed. And already I've done certain things in preparation of making this garden area, again, because if you follow along, you know this area tends to get a bit floody and when we've had 2 or 3 days of torrential rain. I've drilled several large drain holes, about 3.5 inches in diameter, and down into the ground about 2 to 3 feet. And I filled them with a lot of the pebbles that I've taken up from here, and backfilled with either the native soil or some compost. So the water will go into those holes and hopefully keep the area from being flooded or floody, filled with water. And on top of that, once I start backfilling or filling in with the area with compost and the wood mulch that I use, then again, this will help displace the water. It will also turn around, absorb some of the water, and again, hopefully then, between the combination of things, this will be an area where I won't have to water that much. It will retain enough moisture, especially during the hot summer months, for all the new plants that are going to go in here, which hopefully I will have quite a lot of new plants. I will talk more about that later and some of my setbacks in that. Another thing I did with this walkway was I made one side, I put the bricks on edge on one side, and that was to retain the dirt and the compost from the bed that's expanding. You can see down by the steps here, there's a little bump out, and there's a similar bump out down at the other end. And again, this is just to help contain the soil and compost and the wood mulch, etc. And I'll be expanding this bed via the no-dig method, which I'll try to show coming up in upcoming videos. I was going to kind of do it today, but I got other things going on and cooking. So before I go off to the next thing, the splash pad section is again an extension of the gutter system. So again, when I have torrents of rain and the water comes pouring down there, none of the stones that I'm using for my gutter to move the water away are cemented together. So water has a chance to seep down through all those cracks into the surrounding soil, but it moves a majority of the water away from the house. It'll come down to a splash pad. That splash pad will be semi-submerged. Again, there'll be compost and wood mulch around it. And there are drainage holes. There's a total of 6 drainage holes underneath that splash pad, which again will hopefully help a lot of the water drain away and not flood or saturate the area. Let's move over to the greenhouse. The greenhouse is about 115 degrees today. Again, the sun is out full blast, no clouds, and it's about 72 today. It might even get up to 75, who knows. But the greenhouse is very warm today. Now, it hasn't been this warm up to this point. There were a couple of days where I think, was it yesterday, might have hit 80, but the greenhouse still wasn't that warm because we had a lot of clouds. So it kept the bright sun from warming up the space excessively. Today is an excessive heat day, so the greenhouse is warm. That being said, I put water on the concrete and I just watered everything very well in there today. All the vents are open, the door's open, as you can see. So hopefully no damage will be done. I don't think so. Tonight, everything will get closed up because tomorrow is only supposed to get to 50 something. We're supposed to have rain, I think, a good chunk of the day, maybe all day. Who knows? The weatherman's always wrong. It's going to cool off quite a bit. Inside the greenhouse, I have foxglove growing in seeds, which is wonderful. Some of those foxglove may wind up in front of the house over there in that bed that we were just talking about, the expanded front bed. I have lupine Russells, a couple of them growing. Again, they'll probably wind up in the front bed. Also the front flower beds, which again will evolve and expand this year. I have to finish going to do my winter cleanups in those and do some new mulching, etc., etc. So yeah, I don't know if I'll capture any of that because sometimes I just get into a project and I go, oh, wait, maybe I should be recording this, and I forget to record it. So, but we'll see. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video because I may be doing the winter cleanup. I may be planting out something new. Who knows? Let's see, what else do I have going on in the greenhouse? The succulents that I repotted, they're doing quite well. And my citrus trees that I put into the greenhouse to protect them from any sort of winter freezes. My orange tree, I believe it's called a clementine orange tree, and my 2 Myers lemons trees, they're flowering now, which is crazy. They're absolutely beautiful. It smells wonderful inside the greenhouse. They're flowering, they're doing well. I do have to repot all 3 of them. The clementine has just sunken into its pot, and the Myers lemons need to be put into larger pots, which I have freed up when I planted out the pawpaws earlier in the year. So all that'll be happening in the next few weeks. Maybe I should wait till they're done flowering. I don't know. If you have any experience with citrus trees, please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Should I repot them now while they're flowering? Should I wait until after they're done flowering? Again, let me know your comments and thoughts on that below. Let's see what else. Lettuce still going. My romaine lettuce I have in there. It's doing well. It's delicious. My onions are looking good now. This is the first batch of onions that are Walla Wallas. I need to plant, I think I have 2 more varieties that I have to plant up soon. And this way I'll have a lot of onions for the upcoming year. And it's a relatively simple vegetable to grow. So again, onions are looking good. So that's pretty much it for the greenhouse. Everything's chugging along. I will be starting more seeds and putting them in the greenhouse, and I'm going to get to that reason next. I was walking out to I was walking over to the garage, and I had to stop and show you guys this. My garlic is looking fantastic. Again, these 2 beds are my primary beds, and they are just growing like gangbusters. So hopefully I'll be harvesting them, I don't know, around 4th of July or so. We'll have to see. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. This way you see me harvest or whatever else I'm doing on that particular day here in my garden. So now let's go over to the greenhouse. So my indoor greenhouse, my indoor seed starting. I called this a greenhouse before, more in my garage. It's the heat. It's broiling my brain already. So this is the seed starting station inside my garage, and I covered this in another video, so I won't go into this right now. But I am starting numerous seeds, and many of those seeds will go out into the flower garden. They'll go out into the front garden, which I was just talking about a few minutes ago, and they'll go elsewhere throughout the garden itself, wherever I can find space to put them all. All that being said, yeah, I have a new nemesis. So what's happened is that I apparently have a mouse or mice which have decided to go foraging for seeds inside my seed trays. This happened, I think, only once or twice late last year, and last winter, I believe, was much cooler than it is this winter. And the mice, they just hit a couple of cells. It wasn't the end of the world. I didn't think much of it. I'm like, okay, you know, whatever. Got a little snack. And by the time the mice arrived, many of the seeds that I had planted already started coming up, which was great. So They don't go after the plants necessarily, or at least in my experience, they've never gone after the plants. I have quite a few trays of columbine here, and I'm pretty sure none of them are going to come to fruition because there's probably no columbine seeds in there. Which is interesting because columbine seeds are like really, 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 really small. They're not big seeds, but apparently the mice decide to dig around into the soil, maybe because they smell the seeds or something. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I lost all that. I'm pretty sure my tomatoes are all gone. I'm going to have to replant my tomatoes. I moved the tray out into the greenhouse for the time being. If I don't see any tomatoes sprouting up in the next few days, I'll just replant and start all over. It's a good thing I wasn't starting a lot of tomatoes this year, so I have a lot of extra seed. What I do have is a tray of Rudbeckia, which is doing quite nicely. And that's pretty much it. Everything else still hasn't sprouted. A lot of the things I planted in the garage, was stuff that had a very long germination period. So right now, nothing else really other than some of the Rudbeckia coming up, which is great. Once they get to a certain size, I'll up-pot them, and I'll probably do a video about that. Again, I'm not an expert, and this is not a how-to channel. This is just me growing my garden, sharing my experiences with all of you. If you have any thoughts, comments, etc., please leave them below. I'm always open to suggestions. I'd love to hear your stories, anything like that. Yeah, so let's get out of this dark and weirdly lit garage. Okay, so we're up on my back deck, and up here I have various plants in various stages of growth. In fact, I have a Earth Angel rose bush, which I've repotted fairly recently. I did a video on that, and that is doing quite nicely. I have a few other things up here that some are good, some are bad. I have chrysanthemums which have survived the winter, and now we're going into the springtime. The chrysanthemums definitely will get planted out into the flower gardens at some point. Probably my biggest success or thing I'm most excited about, I should say, for the upcoming year is my pot of American Legion poppy. It's just going like gangbusters. Again, if you're new to gardening, you've thought about gardening, or you just don't know where to start, you can start small and just get yourself a pot. You put yourself some potting mix inside of it in there, and then you could do something like American Legion poppy, or any poppy really, but you could sprinkle that, the seeds onto there. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money, again, get yourself a plastic pot at Dollar General if you want, or you go to the big box stores like Lowe's or Home Depot and get yourself a pot for a few bucks. A packet of seeds of something that might look interesting to you or you might want to try. Could be tomato, could be parsley, could be poppy, could be wildflower mix, whatever it is. But you follow the instructions on the packet, you put it into the pot. Again, with American Legion poppy, it just needed to be sprinkled on top, watered in, and now I've got a lot of seedlings starting to come up, which is really exciting. I will probably thin some of these out because there's far too many for the pot, but I should be having a spectacular show of beautiful red poppies here on the back deck in end of February, probably mid to late March. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified. I keep saying it. Again, thank you to all the new subscribers. This is just me sharing my garden, sharing my experiences and how I do certain things here in my garden. If you have any comments, suggestions, thoughts, etc., please leave those comments below. If you like my t-shirt and like to support the channel and maybe help me buy another bag of topsoil or seeds, please check out the links below. Get yourself a snazzy t-shirt, a hoodie. All these items are for sale. I'm still working on some new t-shirt designs, which I really need to get done soon. And there's so much more coming up. Again, we're only into February. Things are just starting to roll. Again, I'm in growing zone 8A. So, my last frost date is April 1st. I still have quite a few projects and things to do before that April 1st sort of, hey, the frost is over. Now we're in full bore sprint of spring. And down here in the south, probably by mid-May, we're into summer. So if not early May. So spring is very short for us. So we have to be on top of things here, get stuff planted, get it growing, moving on. All that being said, I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.